Well, basketball fans, this is it. Time is officially running out on the 2022 regular season, and tonight's game is the last regular season home game for the St. Martin's men's basketball team. And tonight it is, it's a bit bittersweet. The Saints will say goodbye to four very special graduating seniors who have no doubt left their mark, not just on this program, but on this campus and this community as well. Well, good afternoon and happy Senior Day, everybody, and thank you for tuning in today for the final regular season home game of Saints men's basketball in 2022. Alongside Saints Director of Athletic Communications, Austin Burns, I'm Jeff Lucero. Happy to be here with you for the live broadcast from Marcus Pavilion tonight here on a very special evening indeed. This happy hour game pits the Saints against Central Washington in the second of two with the Wildcats today. The Wildcats toppled the Saints in the women's game 78-73 a little bit earlier this afternoon. We'd, of course, like to welcome in any Wildcats fans tuning in tonight. Very nice to have you along for the broadcast as well. We'll talk matchup shortly, but for the Saints, as we just mentioned, four players will suit up for the final time in their St. Martin's careers here tonight. Normally, on our pregame show, we'd give you a recap of the Saints' recent games and talk about some of the highlights and takeaways from those. But tonight we're shifting the focus to those four Saints players who will graduate this spring. And Austin, what a quadrant of impressive human beings they are. Of course, we're talking about Marky Adams, Brett Reed, John Moore, and Goy Wang. Sure, they're all great student athletes, but more importantly, they're also just a bunch of really, really good dudes. Austin, you get to spend a lot more time on campus than I do. You get to interact with these student athletes much more frequently. Talk, if you would, about the impact that Marky, Brett, John, and Goy have made both on this program and on the entire St. Martin's family and community as a whole.
Yeah, the demands of being a Division II student athlete are so great. You know, the academics along with the play on the court. And you got guys like John Moore, who is an NABC honors court selection. I mean, and I believe that's a 3.75 GPA or higher while also playing. I mean, I
can't even count that high.
That's a much better GPA than I had, I'll tell you that. And so
it's like yours and mine combined.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, you know, you got a lot of opportunities like that to, you know, obviously we see all the things that they do on the court, but everything that these young men do off the court, it's absolutely impressive. And I'm lucky this semester. I actually get to intern with Brett Reed and Marky Adams.
Okay.
You know, it's fun being there in the, you know, intern, and I'm looking up at both of them. But, you know, it's the biggest interns I've ever had, you know, 6'9", 6'10". But
they cut imposing figures, to be sure.
Yeah, and you get to learn, you know, more about them, like who they are off the court, what they like, and it's a lot of fun. And Goy Wang, you know, he was one of the first guys to come over with head coach Aaron Landon, him and John Moore, you know, when he took this job. So, I mean, they've been here from the ground up. And those first years, we know it was rough, but, you know, they get to cultivate it here this year. And all their hard work off the floor, on the floor, in the weight room, it's all coming together. And now we get to honor them here tonight, and it's a special night.
Well, I'm excited, too, to talk a little bit more about John Moore and what he means to this program, in part because we haven't had any real chances to talk about him much at all this season. He got injured very early on in the year, was barely able to play at all. He won't be suited up tonight, not even for like a little courtesy moment on the court, which is unfortunate but understandable. But, yeah, we'll talk more about John Moore because he is also one of 5 players on the Saints team who were recently named to the GNAC All-Academic team. Josh Camper, Alex Clinton, Marcus Linker, and Tyke Thompson joining John Moore. And John Moore, it is his second-time selection to that GNAC All-Academic team. I've talked to John a few times over the years. I am always just dazzled at just how smart, how kind he is. He's such a nice guy. He just genuinely just makes you feel like you know that he cares about you. You know that he's sincere every time he opens his mouth. He wants to learn more about you as a person. He's such a good dude, and I really hope we get a couple more opportunities to talk about what a special guy John Moore is on this broadcast.
Yeah, I got a great little story real quick about him. It was before a volleyball game, and I was doing the stats for it, and my caller wasn't there, and the person who tells you what to input into the stats. And so I run over, I see Aaron's team in the stands, and I go, hey, I need a guy. John volunteers. He comes down. He goes, what am I doing? I mean, he hopped right in. You know, luckily he was able to be relieved pretty quick after, I think, the first set. But That's the kind of person that John Moore is. He hopped right in. He was just there to enjoy the game, and all of a sudden he's being pulled to kind of be down on the table crew working with me. So, it's just a testament to who he is as a person.
Well, and another special thing about John Moore, he's actually someone that followed Aaron Landon to St. Martin's. He was one of a couple of players that played for Aaron Landon over at South Puget Sound Community College, his last stop before being hired as head coach here at St. Martin's. We don't have a ton of time, so let's go ahead and just roll right into our preview because we've got to let Austin get down to the floor for our Senior Day festivities this afternoon. So let's take a quick look now at tonight's opponent for the Saints. The Wildcats enter tonight's game with an overall record of 14-6. They are 8-5 in conference play, and depending on which poll you look at, they are ranked second in the most recent standard NCD2 regional rankings and number 4 in the SID rankings. The Wildcats are not an especially deep team outside of their starting 5. Not a lot of guys see significant time on the floor outside of the starters, but when you've got a starting 5 like this one, who needs a bench, especially when you consider the offensive firepower that Wildcats head coach Brandon Renta can call upon in the form of one of the most efficient scoring quartets in the entire GNAC. When you look at the numbers for Xavier Smith, David Thompson, Marcus Gilson, and Matt Poquette, you have to be impressed. Between them, they're averaging about 61 points per game just among those 4 players. Smith is the scoring leader in the GNAC, averaging right around 19 points per game. He's also second in the league in free throw percentage at 87%. Who's he behind? Oh, just his teammate, the aforementioned David Thompson, who's averaging 88% at the foul line. So Smith averages 19.2 when Thompson goes for 15.3 points per game, but do not sleep on their other 2 big threats from the floor, Xavier Gilson and Matt Poquette, who check in at an even 14 and 12.2 points per game, respectively. Overall, they're averaging about 84 points per game. That's best in the GNAC, but they're also coughing up 77 points per game. That's second worst in the league, but they're shooting 49% from the floor, also tops in the GNAC, 36% from 3 and 77% at the foul line. So, Austin, it's not much of a secret at this point. Central's 4-headed offensive hydra is without question one of the best in the league, perhaps the best. Between the 4 of them, they can really, really score. But you know what? The Saints know a thing or two about decent shooting and scoring as well. What in the absolute world can either of these 2 teams do to slow the other down here this evening?
I don't think there's any slow, and I think they're going to play to their strengths. I think this is going to be a track meet. The first game was 94-83. We could see the same thing here tonight. I mean, these are, in my opinion, by far the 2 best offenses in the GNAC. They are just so much firepower on the floor. You don't know where to look. You don't know who to guard. Both teams are going to go at it, and that's what happened in Ellensburg, and I'm really hoping we got the same thing here tonight. Just another back and forth, just watching great offense. This is going to be a fun game. If you like defense, you know what? Maybe look away for a little bit sometimes because this is going to be an offensive shootout.
Yeah, the Central Washington Wildcats, the best shooting team from the floor in the GNAC, and in the Saints, the best shooting team from beyond the arc in the GNAC. Again, the 2 probably most efficient offenses, as Austin just talked about. Austin, we'll release you for now from your pregame responsibilities here. I know you've got to get down to the floor for the Senior Day festivities. And folks, we're also going to step away just a little bit early from the pregame show so that we can get ready to bring you today's Senior Day presentation. Again, congratulations to Marky Adams, Brett Reed, John Moore, and Goy Wang, our 4 players playing their final game inside Marcus Pavilion in a regular season contest in their collegiate basketball careers. Folks, this has been the St. Martin's men's basketball pregame show. Senior Day festivities coming up, and then tip-off between the Saints and the Wildcats here on the St. Martin's Digital Network.
4 seniors finishing their home playing careers today. Each has contributed to the history and tradition of the Saints during their time at St. Martin's, and we would like to honor their hard work and dedication at this time. Our first senior is a forward from Aurora, Colorado, being escorted by assistant coach Tyler Vasquez as number 13, Goy Wayne. Goy played in 30 games for the Saints over 2 seasons, scoring 117 points and grabbing 54 rebounds, 20 assists, and 12 blocks. Goy will be graduating with a degree in business administration. Ladies and gentlemen, number 13, Goy Wayne. Our next senior is a guard from Tacoma, Washington, being escorted by his parents, Johnny and Teresa, and his sister, Jonesy. Number 22, John Moore. John has played 43 games for the Saints, making all 43 starts, scoring 266 points, grabbing 177 rebounds and 80 assists. John was named to the NABC Honors Court and was a 2-time GNAC All-American Academic Team selection. He will be graduating with a degree in accounting and is working towards his master's. Ladies and gentlemen, number 22, John Moore. Our next senior is a forward from Houston, Texas, being escorted by his parents, James and Joanne. Number 24, Brett Reed. Reed transferred to St. Martin's from Chaminade for his final season, where this year, Reed leads the team in scoring at 14 points per game and rebounding at 8.7 per game. Reed played in all 23 games for the Saints this season. He will be graduating with a degree in communications this spring. Ladies and gentlemen, number 24, Brett Reed. Our final senior is a center from Forks, Washington, being escorted by his parents, Mark and Alita, and his grandfather, Don. Number 32, Marky Adams. Adams appeared in 72 games for the Saints over 4 seasons, scoring a total of 552 points, 409 rebounds, and collecting 11 double-doubles. He will be graduating this spring with a degree in communications. Ladies and gentlemen, number 25, 32, Marky Adams. Group photo time. And one more round of applause for our graduating seniors, 2022. Thank you, gentlemen, and good luck in your future contests.
Welcome back inside Marcus Pavilion. We're just a couple of moments away from tip-off between Central Washington and St. Martin's in what, Austin, anyway, we anticipate to be a high-scoring affair here to put a bow on the end of the St. Martin's regular season home docket for basketball in 2022.
Yeah, this is an exclamation point for sure.
Yep.
You're going to see some high-flying offense. St. Martin's, they've been clicking. They had that 3-game skid, but when you lose your starting point guard and your stretch 4 in Skinny and Tyke, that it kind of changes it up, and the guys have had to adjust to that. But since that point, they torched Western Washington. They were up big on Northwest Nazarene. It came down to that buzzer beater at the end by Greeley.
You know we're going to talk about that throughout the night.
The year by Jeff over here. It was great. The Saints have started to click back, and now it's positive to see Skinny suited up here tonight.
Yes.
We might even see him on the floor, but it's senior night, the emotions, the crowd, the energy. This is exactly what you want, the final home game for the Saints.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Jayden Nielsen Skinner. I was looking. That's one of the first things I looked for as soon as the men's team came out onto the court for some pregame warm-ups and shoot-around is Jayden Nielsen going to be dressed tonight after missing the last handful of games for this St. Martin's men's basketball program? He is dressed, not in the starting lineup. Another change to the starting lineup for the Wildcats as well. Marcus Gilson will come off the bench for Central Washington. He is their third leading scorer on this team. So Central comes out clad in black, Saints in the traditional home whites. Here on Senior Day, folks, our final broadcast of the season. The GNAC has it from here once we roll through the conference championships beginning that first week of March. Adams and Paquette tip things off. We're underway. Schumacher rolls back, tracks it down. The Saints with the first possession to begin the contest, moving right to left on your old-timey radio dial. Greeley with a handle. Look down low for Adams. Tries to spin on the defender to his left, gets back into the paint, rolls to his right. The little one-handed jump hook will not fall. Had good touch, but a little bit too strong. And David Thompson handles for the Wildcats' first possession. Schumacher gets a hand of the ball, but they able to recover. They get it to the cutter along the baseline, Paquette. And Central Washington with the first points on the board.
Yeah, Saints in Ellensburg, that first matchup, they got it going inside early. They tried to get a first look to Marquis Adams, unable to connect, and now Central getting exactly what they want, a run out here.
Empty trips for the Saints on their first two possessions, one and done on both. Now it's David Thompson firing from distance, no good. Reed skies in for the rebound, hauls down his first of the game. Expect a gigantic number from Brett Reed here as a senior playing his final regular season game anyway for the Saints. As is Marquis Adams, who goes to work down low, has a step, gets to the rack, clearly pulled down by the defender. No call. My goodness. A couple of weird ones in the women's game, and right off the bat, plain as day, that arm got pulled down toward the floor. Unless that was a weird act of gravity here inside Marcus Pavilion. Magical things have been known to happen in here. Anyway, let's move on. Saints back with possession now. Here's Reed with it. Starts his move, gets into the chest, and is called for the offensive foul. Now that one could have gone either way. Brett Reed didn't really get extended, didn't really get much of an arm into the midsection of the defender. Nevertheless, offensive foul on Reed. And the Saints remain scoreless for the game's first 2 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of energy, a lot of emotion at the beginning of this game, and the Saints just trying to work through it. Central Washington, that shot no good. Both teams just kind of a little sluggish here to start. They're moving the ball well, just not able to get those shots to fall.
Schumacher skips off the screen from Adams. Hands off to Greeley. Now Reed faces along the baseline. One dribble, now back outside for Schumacher. Has it stripped away, regains possession. Back to Christian Hafter, his first touch. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Ball tipped out of bounds by Central Washington out near midcourt. 6 seconds on the shot clock for the Saints, who have yet to score in the game's first 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So we promised you a high-scoring affair. We haven't had it yet. Now Schumacher, off-balance three on its way. Banks nearly in. Adams after the rebound, but tapped back into the hands of Central Washington. And the scoring drought continues for the Saints. They've missed their first 4 shots to start the game.
Yeah, I don't think Schumacher knew the clock there when he inbounded it.
Now Amari Stafford with a long-distance 3. Couple of players after it. Brett Reed able to control it. Right in front of Tyler Velasquez, assistant coach for the Saints. And back comes St. Martin's the other direction. 3 minutes in, just 2 points in this game. Hafner out between the circles. Really comes out to get it. Flash is free. He'll pull it from 17. And an offensive foul, a loose ball foul called against Marky Adams inside.
Well, the Saints, that's their advantage, is their size down low with Adams and Reed. And already 2 quick fouls on them in Central Washington. They're just using the size, but look at that defense from Greeley.
Kyle Greeley just racing in out of absolute nowhere for the block. At the other end, cannot connect on the 3. And the Saints now 0 for 6 to start the game. Xavier Smith in the corner. Darts into the paint. Hands it off for Paquette. They work it around on the perimeter. Now Colby Gannett for 3. Misses everything. Wow, what an uneven start to this game, but look at this, back on the floor for the first time in 5 games, Jayden Nielsen Skinner. Oh, the game might change in a hurry if Jayden Nielsen Skinner has anything to say about it, Austin. They have really missed him, but they haven't needed him all that badly because they continue to play really well in his absence, but certainly they're just so much different, so much more dynamic, and so much tougher to guard when he's on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting the team MVP back, which allows Schumacher to kind of go in that off-ball role where he excels so much. But it also, I think, for the Saints, it gives them their best defender out on the perimeter back, and that's what they need here tonight because Central Washington's got some guards who can score.
They skip it back for Gannett. He misfires from 3 again. The cold shooting continues for both teams. How in the world are we sitting at 2-0? Almost 5 minutes into this game. Now Greeley, he misses everything. He comes in tonight shooting nearly 70% over his last 7 games, but he's 0 for 3 to start this one. In the paint, the little left-handed floater will fall. The scoring drought is broken there by Matt Paquette. Saints remain scoreless.
Yeah, Saints have had some good looks, too. It's not like they're Central Washington's just buckling down on them. The Saints have had looks. They just cannot connect. They just need that first one to go through.
They might get it here. Greeley, floater along the baseline. Over the defender. Some contact again. No call. They're letting them play. David Thompson steps back and from 17 buries it. And the first half dozen points of the game, the game's first 5 minutes, all on the board for the Wildcats. Nielsen Skinner moves to his left. Reverses back to Hafner. Thinks about a 3. Contact there as well. Still no call at the Central defensive end. 10 on the shot clock for Skinny. He'll reset everything. Goes all the way up top. Accelerates toward the rack. Off-balance shot just sort of fell out of his hand a little awkwardly. He got there. There was no defender in front of him. He just sort of misfired from the offensive end. That shot won't fall. Adams the rebound. Saints in transition find Schumacher streaking in. And there's one of the many things that Jayden Nielsen brings to this game. He has the best court vision of any point guard, perhaps in the country. He is so good at just identifying where his other 4 teammates are on the floor, and he did it perfectly right there.
Yeah, and again, he just always has his head on a swivel, knows where everything's going to be. And again, that's what allowing Schumacher to play on that off-ball roll where he can cut to the basket and make those kinds of plays. That's when the Saints are at their best.
Took forever and a day for the Saints to get on the board. They finally do. Nielsen Skinner on the move again. 14-footer near the baseline, a little bit short. And a strong rebound for Paquette. He'll bring it out. Slams on the brakes, waits for his teammates. Now Thompson on the drive. Dispossessed by Skinny. Xavier Smith able on the pump fake to get a shot up and over Marky Adams. 8-2 the score. Haven't had a stoppage in a good long while.
I was going
to
say
nearly 7 minutes of basketball already without a stop.
Yeah, with how these two teams play, you know they want a break here.
Schumacher looks inside. Leaves it for Adams, raises for two hands, and throws it down. More midair contact. Adams battles through it and throws it down with impunity.
Yeah, Adams is going to have to play real tough here tonight. It seems like they're letting him play down low. Going to let the big men fight it out. You got to love it.
Paquette spins to his right, goes to his left, well off the mark, and Schumacher clears it. Austin, we might get under 12 before we get the under 16 timeout. Don't see that very often. Anyway, here's Schumacher. Off the Adams screen. Pulls up from 17 and drains it. And Central Washington and Brandon Renton will call a timeout. Maybe more than anything, Austin, like you were saying, these guys just want a break. We're nearly 8 minutes into this game, and that will be our first timeout. We will step away. It's 8-6 Central Washington very early on. Well, tough sledding inside Marcus Pavilion for both teams. Central Washington shooting just 28%, 4 for 14, and they're 0 for 5 from 3. Saints, well, much worse, in fact. 15% from the floor, 2 for 13 to open the game, 0 for 3 from the floor. Kyle Greeley, who, again, was shooting about 67% over his last 7 games tonight, has misfired on his first 4 shots from the floor. Brett Reed back on the floor, and immediately it pays dividends with the steal. Calling for the ball, bounce pass behind the back from Skinny to set him up. Double team collapses on him. They kick it back outside. Now here's Wang into the high post for Brett Reed. Faces up on the defender. Wow, he is stoned down low, able to get backing around and leaves his 12-footer short. Wang there for the offensive rebound. Neither of those 2 shots touched rim, but finally a foul called against Central Washington, and it'll bring us to another stoppage in play. All right, 11:49 to go, and we remain at 8-6, Central Washington with a 2-point lead. Well, all we did in the pregame, Austin, was talk about the offensive firepower that we were in store for here this evening, and so far it has not been the case. Neither team shooting well, really to speak of at all, and I don't know if it's necessarily been great defense for either team, because neither team has really been able to make their shots.
Yeah, I think the shots are starting to fall a little bit there right before we hit back-to-back timeouts, but, you know, don't worry, Jeff. This game, It's going to live up to the billing. It's going to be an offensive game.
Marcus Linker on the floor. Looks at Reed, then reverses it to Wang. Now it's Skinny with 10 on the shot clock. Bounces off the screen. High arcing shot. Skipping down the right side of the lane, and Skinny ties the game.
Well,
God, that hung in the air for an hour and a half.
Yeah, what a job by Nielsen Skinner, too. Rolling off of that screen, he has the defender on his back, and he's got the defender kind of playing on two fronts, and he just goes up and over the big, tall defender.
Pretty strong drive there for David Lindgren. As he gets to the rack. Was not able to finish, and a loose ball foul called on Central Washington. Or was it just ball out of bounds? I guess it was just last touch by the Wildcats. So strike the foul. A lot of contact there. Just sort of assumed they were going to call one there. It didn't. Swallow the whistle again. Skinny clears the timeline. Bluffs left, goes right. Wang. After the near steal for Central Washington, Schumacher dips at the knees, now races in. It's stuck in midair, tries to force a pass back outside, and it's picked off. Back comes the Wildcats in transition. Moving and switching right to left. That was an acrobatic play. Now it's the Saints in transition the other way. Schumacher for three in front of the Wildcats bench, no good. Long rebound. Karams all the way nearly out of bounds, but eventually tracked down by Isaiah Banks. Behind his back. Now Lindgren cuts through the paint. He flashes free. Acrobatic shot. Good athleticism from Lindgren on his two attacks of the rack.
What a feed from Rose, too. Just knew exactly where his guy was going to be at the right time. Nice offense from the Wildcats.
Now Marcus Linker sizes one up from deep and knocks it down. Looked like Central Washington was content to let Linker fire from deep, and he punishes him. His first three cast of the evening will go. That's our first made three for either team. And Aaron Landon this time calls the timeout. So 10-11 to play, just a 30-second timeout. Things are definitely starting to pick up just a little bit here at the offensive end.
Yeah, and you know both these teams, I got a feeling this is going to be still a 41-38 halftime score. I mean, these two teams can quickly put the points up on the board. And again, it's just the three-point shooting hasn't been there for either side. And the Saints, like you said at the beginning of the broadcast, they're the best three-point shooting team in the conference. So you know it's going to start picking up here pretty soon. But for me, I think both teams are honestly pretty happy about how this one has started, in the sense that you're moving the ball how you want, you're getting the cuts to the basket. The shots just aren't falling, and you know with how highly ranked these two offenses are and how efficient they are, they're going to start falling. So I think right now both coaching staffs just waiting for that moment to click. Who's going to get that first run here? Can the Saints capitalize on the huge crowd inside Marcus Pavilion?
That is a good crowd, our best we've seen all season. Saints pick up a little bit of pressure in backcourt. Wildcats able to move it across the timeline. Isaiah Banks moves to his left, hands it back to Lindgren. He accelerates down the right side of the lane, now kicks back outside for Marcus Gilson. Now Lindgren drives again. His leaner from 10 feet won't go. Barely nicked the rim, and Schumacher steers the other direction for the Saints. Nearly fouled from behind by Lindgren. Sets up Wang for three in transition. No good. Reed able to hustle and track down the ball. Fights a pass outside through a double team. Gets it back. Now Skinny. And Schumacher rolls off the screen. Steps back. He'll try for three. Got it! Alex Schumacher has been so good from behind the arc all season. He's been very selective. He just picks his spots, never forces a shot from the perimeter, but when he does get an open look at it like he did right there, he knocks it down about 45% of the time.
Yeah, that's probably been his biggest part of his game that he's improved upon since he came in here as a freshman. When he was a freshman, it was all about driving to the rack and using that athleticism, and that works in high school a lot. But when you get to the college level, especially D2, there's a lot of guys who can keep up with you. And so now he's had to develop that jump shot, and he has. And I think getting the addition of Skinny into the lineup has really allowed Schumacher to focus on that part of his game.
Brilliant block from Wang a moment ago, and he winds up with a loose ball there. Skinny directs traffic the other way. Pulls up in front of the defender and knocks it down. And the Saints really starting to feel it at the offensive end. They build their largest lead to 6. It's 16-10.
Yeah,
you see the immediate dividends of having Skinny back on the floor.
Yeah, I think it's a 14-2 run, I believe. We'll make that 14-4 now. But, but yeah, again, just what Skinny does. Wide open underneath the basket was Lenker.
Oh, and he knocks it down! Marcus Linker drains the three from the corner, and he's fouled. Second game in a row that we've got a potential 4-point play. How about that? Oh my gosh.
Oh, and what I love is you look at the bench. They just erupted when Linker drilled that shot.
More than I did?
Oh, I think so, Jeff. Some of those guys, they got some hops over there, you know. But Marcus Linker, talk about a guy that just has to stay focused. You never know when your name's going to get called in a big game like this. Linker coming off the bench and being a spark for the Saints offensively.
My goodness, Marcus Linker, 7 points already in this game. Guess what, folks? If you had Marcus Linker leading all scorers for the game's first 12 minutes on your bingo card tonight, you win. You win. Just shut it down right now. A near foul on that. We might have had, in fact, probably should have had opportunities at back-to-back 4-point plays. Goy Wang clearly made contact with David Thompson as he got into his shooting motion. The Saints very fortunate that foul was not called. And at any rate, credit David Thompson. That was a very hard-earned 3-point shot. And that silences the crowd inside Marcus Pavilion for the moment. A foul whistled against Marcus Gilson for the Wildcats, and that will bring us to a stoppage in play. The Saints now with a 5-point lead on Central Washington with 7:34 to play here in the first half. Well, the Saints with 14 points in about a 2.5-minute burst. They have erased a 6-point deficit, turned it into a 5-point lead. They actually led it by 8 a moment ago before David Thompson muscled up a 3, fighting through some contact on a play that we agree should have been a foul whistled against Goy Wang. We would have had back-to-back 4-point plays after Linker was able to convert. Now Hafner takes the pass, thinks about the 3. First back to Linker, and the Saints, for the moment anyway, will be patient out on the perimeter. Now Schumacher starts his move. Steps back from 17. Adams the offensive rebound. The putback a little bit too strong. And things cleared out of there by Central Washington, nearing the 7-minute mark of the first half. Two of the highest ranked teams in the GNAC. Good look inside from Thompson. For Xavier Smith, he mishandles the pass. Now drives against Marky Adams, gets stuck in midair, somehow able to roll that home. How about the athleticism from Xavier Smith on that play? Man, that was a next-level move. That was just special basketball right in front of us, Austin.
Yeah, I think you got the two most athletic teams in the conference going at it here. And so their guard leaves his feet. He has about 4 or 5 different options, and he just goes around all the defenders and cashes in on that final option.
Marky Adams shut down, so he fires back for Hafner. His 3 no good. Linker after it. He's locked up beneath the basket by Colby Gannett. So we'll keep it at the St. Martin's end. Linker, very active. I mean, those 7 points, that's just bonus. That's just gravy stuff from Marcus Linker, a role player on this team. But he also does a lot of stuff like he just did right there, which is just create more opportunities by getting those hustle plays. Now Christian Hafner called for the push-off, and the offensive foul results in a turnover and gives it back to Central Washington. Perhaps sold by a skosh bit of exaggeration from Central Washington on that one. Saints settle back into that 2-3 zone. Marky Adams in the middle of it down low. No look pass near the baseline. Sets that pocket, but Adams quickly collapses on him. Now Thompson shimmies to his left. Steps back. They'll try it down low again. but Paquette unable to finish. Now Kyle Greeley back on the floor for the Saints. Settles things for the moment. Crosses left to right. Shovels a pass back to Adams over his shoulder. Now Schumacher rolls off the screen, reaching in and trying to strip it away was Xavier Smith. Schumacher fights through that contact and lays it in. Athletic move from Schu down low. Now a three from the corner for Central Washington, connected by Xavier Smith. So yes, Austin, now the offense is really starting to flow for both teams.
Yeah, you knew it was just a time bomb for both sides. I mean, they're just too good. And then you get some good down-low battle, but actually calling the foul out on the outside.
Yeah. That's going against David Thompson. I actually thought they were going to get Paquette, who was locked up with Adams down low. Instead, it's David Thompson who tangles with Schumacher out on the perimeter. Schu gets it here. Stumbles over the outstretched legs of Xavier Smith and draws another foul. So 2 fouls in about 2 seconds for Central Washington. And all of a sudden, they're piling up for the Wildcats. That's the 6th. The Saints in the bonus for the final 5:18 of the first half.
Yeah, Jeff, Central Washington had to have their game canceled on Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, no!
Oh, that's a tough break for Marky Adams.
Yikes. Well, they're calling Adams over the back. Looked for all the world like he didn't offset the defender in front of him. He looked like he just ripped it clean away. Still, that's the 2nd foul now on Adams, a 4th on the Saints.
Jeff, I was starting to say Central Washington had that game canceled on Thursday due to illness, able to go here today, which is a good thing, but you got to wonder, their legs, how fresh is Central Washington going to be with that illness coming through the team? So far, though, they're looking good, and we're all knotted up.
Yeah, Matt Paquette looked very fresh on that offensive rebound and putback, and he ties the game again at 22. So Paquette with his best offensive play so far in the game's first 15 minutes. He's a really capable scorer. He's been around this program a while. Now Reed faces up. Backs his defender down. Spins to his left, gets to the rack, and lays it in.
Yeah, when Reed gets that left hand middle of the lane, there's not much you can do.
Step back, mid-range jumper for Thompson. Sat on the rim for a while, bounced a few times up there. Finally falls off. And Schu the other way. Linker for 3 again. Why not? Let's go! Marcus Linker! Are you kidding me? Double figures in the first half already for Marcus Linker. Oh, my goodness.
You know, the Saints needed that. They needed a spark off their bench, and that is what Marcus Linker has been. What a game changer he's done.
Stafford hands off. Xavier Smith goes between the wickets. Tries Schumacher, steps back, 18-footer, no good. Rebound, who else? Marcus Linker doing a little bit of everything for the Saints with his time on the floor. Now Schu skips to his left, back to Linker. I wanted the heat check right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
They bounce it down low for Reed. He goes to work on Paquette. Pump fake, a lot of contact beneath the basket, no call. Outlet ahead for Smith. Linker there and on defense. Spins into the plate and lays it off. And it's Colby Gannett, the beneficiary of another athletic play from Xavier Smith. He looked like Adonis Arms on that play. That's high praise indeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Linker, Schumacher fouled on the 3. He will head to the line when we return. Saints now, and Central Washington as well, really starting to open it up. The offense that we've been waiting all night for has certainly arrived in a quick, fast hurry. It's the Saints by 3 with Schumacher heading to the line when we return. All right, we got the cue from our executive producer, Sydney Henderson, to go ahead and start speaking into these silly microphones that are positioned in front of our mouths. We are back to action. 3:09 left here in the first half. Schumacher sets foot at the free throw line for the first of 3 free throw opportunities. Awesome. We expected an entertaining game, and while we didn't get it in the first 5 minutes, it has certainly become that over the last 10.
Yeah, you knew both teams are going to settle into it again. I think there's no denying these are two probably the best teams in the conference. I mean, they easily could be here on this floor in 2 weeks competing for a GNAC title, and it wouldn't surprise anyone. That's how good these two squads are. And it was only a matter of time. But for the Saints, they just keep attacking at the rim, and that's why they're here at the line. And they have to stay aggressive in these final 3 minutes. Keep putting the pressure on Central Washington. Remember, the Wildcats had a great run at the end of the first half in Ellensburg to take the lead right before halftime.
Saints with more pressure in backcourt. Central Washington able to handle it. Now Xavier Smith skips a pass through the lane and into the hands of Stafford. He buries a 3. Amari Stafford, I did not know that was in his repertoire, but he steps into a 3. Looked good on that stroke. And we're back to a 3-point game.
And a beautiful pass, too, all the way through the Saints defense.
Schumacher angling through the paint, leaves it for Reed, gets to the rack, tons of contact, no call. Who cares? Brett Reed doesn't. He fights through that contact and lays it up and in.
Yeah, if there's any guy who's going to go, I don't need a whistle, it's Brett Reed. He plays with absolute intensity.
Now Thompson working off the screen. Skinny stays with him. Smith into the paint, bounces it off, lays it up and in does Marcus Gilson. Good offensive set for the Wildcats. Now a quick outlet ahead for Reed. He tried to corral it, couldn't quite. That was a tough ask. Nearly had it. Now Smith again gets all the way to the rack and lays it in. This is my first look at Xavier Smith, and he is a spectacularly talented player. No question about it.
Yeah, he's an all-conference guard, and if Central wants to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament, you need a guard you can trust to run the offense, and he's exactly that.
Well, the Saints a little bit fortunate on that one. That one could have gone either way. As Reed and Gilson tangle beneath the Saints basket. I thought for a moment they were going to call the foul on Reed, as Gilson seemed like he actually might have been in better position to lay claim to the basketball there. It does go against Gilson, so he steps off the floor after earning his second foul, and Reed will head to the line for the front end of a 1-and-1.
If you're the Wildcats, it may not have been a bad idea. Brett Reed's getting the ball down low in the paint. It's almost better just to foul him there and take away his strength and put him at the line, where that's definitely his Achilles heel.
1-point lead for the Saints as we're about a minute and a half away from halftime. Isaiah Banks reverses it. Now they bounce it down low, cutting along the baseline, wide open again. Amari Stafford able to finish at the rim. So the Central Washington offense starting to solve that Saints D. They have dissected things a few times here in the closing moments of the first half, and they've regained the lead. Now Skinny, after moving through the lane not once but twice. Patient offensive performance from St. Martin's. And Brett Reed pays it off, and the Saints regain the lead with a minute to go.
Yeah, the ability to not lose focus. And here's Schumacher now on the defensive end and on the outlet.
Skinny thinks about a 3, tries the baseline, kicks out for Greeley. 3 on the way is good. Outstanding decision from Jayden Nielsen Skinner. Works his way to the baseline, finds the wide open Kyle Greeley. Those two teammates last year at Portland State as well, and that connection working just fine for the Saints on that possession. All set up by the steal. Perfect anticipation from Shu.
Yeah, and now the Saints able to come away with a stop, and they're going to get the final shot. But, Jeff, we told you there was going to be offense in this game, and it was 8-6 with 11 minutes left. What an explosion. But Saints' final shot, you got to think Greeley here.
Schumacher holds. Kind of slight shades of the other day. Hands it off to Greeley. This time he'll get into the paint and hoist one from 14. It just does bound out, and we reach the halftime buzzer. It was Schumacher holding in the same corner at this end of the floor. and handing off to guess who, Kyle Greeley, on Thursday in the closing moments of our game against Northwest Nazarene. This time he does the same thing. Greeley opts to try his luck inside the lane. The shot does bound off, and it brings us to the halftime break. So the Saints with a 4-point advantage, 37-33 our score. We're halfway through our senior day men's basketball tilt between St. Martin's and Central Washington. Folks, we'll take an extended break on the broadcast, but please rejoin us in about 12 minutes for a look back at first half stats, a look ahead to second half action between the Saints and the Wildcats on the St. Martin's Digital Network. Well, welcome back inside Marcus Pavilion for what, well, won't be much of a St. Martin's men's basketball halftime show. We just lost track of time up here. We're looking at other scores. We're checking stats. We're doing all kinds of stuff. Neglecting, just completely vacating our responsibilities to jump back on the air and actually talk about what happened in the first 20 minutes of this game. And there was so much to be excited about, Austin. We're just at that time of the year where there's just so many other things that you want to keep an eye on. And at all levels of basketball, it's just been so much fun to get back to the business of playing basketball in what feels like a much more sort of just normal, regular way. So glad that we had the fans back inside, being able to watch basketball live and in person. And what a crowd we've had here today for this one. This is by far the biggest crowd we've seen inside the pavilion today in this season.
Yeah, Jeff, this is something that you kind of forgot about, right? And you wished was back in that COVID season. Just getting the students, the band, all that. It's just a different feel, a different energy. And, bonus, they don't have to hear us yelling in an empty gym. We got the crowd to cover us up. But, no, it's just what an atmosphere. This is exactly what we dreamed about last year, and we got a great game unfolding in front of us.
Central Washington with the first possession of the game. It ends in a David Thompson misfire from deep. And the Saints now bringing it left to right on your old-timey radio dial. Schumacher handles here on the near side. Feathers a pass down low, and Marky Adams skies to the rim and throws it down with a punishing, staggering, two-handed midair lob throwdown. How's that for opening things up to start the second half?
Oh, everybody loves it when the big man from Forks gets up in the air. Oh, you got to love it. And there's the defense by Schumacher.
Xavier Smith tracks down the cast out near midcourt, steps back and up for an 18-footer. A little bit too strong, a whistle away from the ball. Will keep it at the Central Washington end on the loose ball foul count against St. Martin's.
Well, here for the Saints, I think that's huge, just the dunk, not just the fact that it's points on the board, but it's just get that momentum back in the gym immediately. You didn't want to start the second half how you started the first, and that's back-to-back quick fouls on Greeley. That's a tough one right there. But, again, for the Saints, you just got to get this crowd into it and energized, and that's a great way to do it.
No better way to do it, really.
Yeah.
How about that? Setting up Marky Adams for the lob. Schumacher threw that pass on a dime. Put it on the money. Now a three from Stafford. That won't go. Really the rebound. Brett Reed calling for it.
Yeah,
his pass kicked out of bounds by Colby Gannett.
Reed in the lane, and he had Hafner in the far corner wide open.
Schumacher, a fantastic first half performance. 12 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. How about that?
Only 1 turnover as well.
Yeah, on pace for a triple-double at this point. Now Reed spins to his left, gets all the way to the rack, leaves it short, gets his own, goes right back up off the glass this time for the putback and lays it in. Largest lead for the game at 8 for St. Martin's. No-look pass inside for Paquette. That shot taken out of the sky. Greeley on the drive. Moves back to his left. Hafner now from 16. That's a little bit long. And Xavier Smith on the run out. Drifts into the corner. Guarded by Greeley. Beautiful pass across court. Setting up Paquette for a three. It will not fall. Make that Colby Gannett on the misfire.
I think a smart move here by the Saints. Just slow it down a little bit. Get your feet back under you.
Yeah, shift
Game was
gears.
starting to go, pretty quick. And that's what the Saints typically want, but always good to just settle it down once in a while and get a good possession in.
8 on the shot clock for Schumacher. Feel familiar? Off the screen, it's Adams rolling to the rack. Couldn't quite make up his mind what he wanted to do.
Yeah, he's not used to being all up alone in the air, and I think he almost went for a signature Air Jordan-style dunk.
Well, we saw him take off from near the free throw line once a few years ago. I remember that moment well. That was a beautiful pass slipped inside by Schumacher. Should have had a 6th assist, but Adams just was not quite able to finish. And now Gilson back on the floor. He'll challenge Adams. Gets into his chest.
Good move.
Sort of bounces backwards, falling away, and feathers home a shot with great touch.
Yeah, not an easy thing to do against one of the best shot blockers in the league in Adams. And he just he knows he can't go into the chest and down low, so he just fades away. And a nice lefty hook.
Salt Lake City, Utah native. Played some community college ball down the road at Centralia. Now Schumacher darts toward the top of the key. Now steps back outside and drains a three straight on. And now that Saints lead builds to 9. Once again, their largest of the game. Wang back on the floor. He guards Thompson up at the top of the zone. Now Xavier Smith. They work it down low for Gilson. Double team collapses on him, so he finds Paquette. Blocked from behind by Schumacher, then blocked face to face by Adams. Now Christian Hafner the other way. Are you kidding me? Back-to-back blocks at one end and a transition three at the other. Get out. Just stop it. Stop it. Stop it right now. Oh! Wow. Stop it some more. There's a timeout on the floor, but we're not going anywhere. We've got to talk about what we just saw. Austin, let's break that down. Schumacher with the block from behind. He gets it back. Adams rejects it straight on. Ball comes out. They find Hafner racing down the near side. Spots up for the transition three and buries it, and the Saints now have a 12-point lead. That is one of the most spectacular sequences you'll ever see.
It was wonderful. I mean, you love the energy inside Marcus Pavilion, and Hafner puts just the icing on the cake with that three. I mean, wow, what a moment that was. And the Saints interior D, Schumacher just not giving up on the play. Marky Adams timing that second jump perfectly. Oh, what a start to the half for St. Martin's. But again, if you're St. Martin's, you cannot get complacent. This Central Washington team, they can put points up in a hurry. We saw on Thursday night, no lead is safe. No lead in the GNAC is safe.
No.
You have to play till there's zeros on the clock. Don't blink, fans. This one could be all knotted up in just a few minutes with how fast this Wildcats team can score.
Silly stuff, though, a moment ago. Just stupendous basketball. Central Washington just absorbed a massive wallop. And now an offensive foul at their end. That's going against David Thompson. That's his second. And a delay of game warning also issued against David Thompson. But Central Washington called the timeout, set up a play, and then commits the offensive foul. They're back on their heels right now, are this Wildcat squad.
Yeah, they are, and St. Martin's has a chance here to really not put a dagger in it by any means, but just start putting your tempo on it. And here's Hafner.
Oh!
Barely missing it.
Just does pop out. Xavier Smith backs down on Greeley, now kicks back outside. They work it back for Thompson. He'll try a three straight on and good. David Thompson puts 3 much-needed points on the board for the Wildcats. Had a good look at it, confidently stepped into it and drained it. Now Schumacher around the Adams screen. The floater on its way is good. Alex Schumacher continues to just play superlative basketball. Absolutely elite right now. I mean, he's such a good player to begin with, but he played a near perfect game against Northwest Nazarene on Thursday, picking up right where he left off.
Well, I think Schumacher's game has really elevated, too, since Skinny went down for a few games, and that allowed him to just, again, continue to take that next step. But Schu, he loves playing in these big-time games, and he's putting on a show here for us.
Adams backing down on Paquette, believes it's short, but they're nearly stolen away by Schumacher from behind. He is just everywhere right now. That pass deflected and eventually picked off. Not sure if that was Wang or Hafner at the top of the zone that got it. But Greeley came away with it. Now he'll try for three. Adams with a strong offensive rebound at the free throw line. Hafner for three. Oh, just too short.
You want to reward the big man there with an assist after he goes and gets a great offensive rebound. But you can see now he just tugged on the jersey. Adams needs a rest, but it's a well-deserved one.
Now that cast is good. Amari Stafford. He has looked good on the perimeter tonight. He's a good basketball player. And Central Washington's got dudes. There's no question. This is a really, really talented team. And Austin, you and I were talking about it at halftime off the air. They are so deep, just so deep. They can call on any number of guys and come in and give them basically the same level of play that they're accustomed to. Not a lot of drop-off talent-wise. 1 through 10 on this team. We do have a stoppage on the floor, and this one we will take. 49-41, Saints with the 8-point lead with just under 14 to play. Thank goodness we've got Sydney Henderson up here to keep us kind of in check anyway. She's over here waving at us. All right, it's time to get back on the air now, you goofball buffoons. Start talking into those microphones again, please. We return to action. Xavier Smith bounces a pass in the high post. It's Gilson backing down, no good. Strong rebound, Brett Reed, loose ball foul, Central Washington.
That's a big foul there on the Wildcats.
Yeah,
Third
it's 3
foul.
on Gilson.
And he's, again, one
He's
of
a
the
factor.
Few Wildcats that has the strength and the size to be able to match up down low. And so picking up that third foul, they're going to keep him in, though, and I think they have to at this point in the game.
Schumacher makes his way toward the baseline, bounces a pass to Reed. This goes right at the defender. Mitch Breezy, who's playing for the first time here in the half. Brett Reed gets it back, fights through the contact. And for one of the first times tonight, we've got a whistle beneath the Saints basket. There's been a lot of contact without a lot of calls. And that's foul number 4 on Gilson. So yes, Austin, a moment ago you said it. They might want to keep him in there with 3, but now that he's picked up the 4th with 13 and change to play, Brandon Renta has basically no choice but to rest one of his best, most effective players he's had in this game so far. And Reed is good on the free throw. Back to a double-digit lead.
Yeah, Central Washington has a lot of depth, but not a ton at that 5 spot. And that's a huge foul. And now the Saints, this is an opportunity for them. See how long until Marky Adams comes back onto the floor. And the Saints to utilize that mismatch down low.
Skinny back out there for the Saints. Now Stafford. He's no good on the 3, but he's fouled. Schumacher stepped over, got into him just a little. Stafford's 3 caroms off, but he will head to the line for 3 foul shots. Schumacher playing so well tonight. 17 points, 6 of 11 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals.
Jeff, I also want to point out Jayden Nielsen Skinner. I mean, we didn't think we were going to see him this week at all with his injury. And we were hoping, okay, maybe for Alaska and just hope for he's healthy by the GNAC tournament. That was kind of what we thought was the best case scenario. And, he's come on the floor today. Not only has he been on the floor for, an impact 12 minutes, it's 6 points, 4 assists, no turnovers. I mean, it's 90% of the Nielsen Skinner that we were used to before the injury. So I mean, that's a huge sign for the Saints to be able to get him back onto the floor.
2 of 3 free throws for Stafford. And Schumacher skips across the timeline. Reed comes out to set the screen, then backs off. Now Wang reverses it back for Nielsen Skinner here in front of us. A whistle away from the ball. I believe it's going against Mitch Brizzi. Just pushing Brett Reed further and further out away from his spot. It is called for bodying up a bit too much.
Yeah, you can tell legs are getting a little bit tired here in the second half. A little more fouls being called. You know, guys just a little late to their position.
Reed, beautiful move. What's this whistle? So it's going against St. Martin's. Goy Wang called for that one. And that's his second. Team foul number 5 on St. Martin's. Central with possession, trailing by 9. 12.5 to play. Banks starts his move, finds Smith in the corner, spins into a double team, and he walks with the basketball.
Yeah, had an outlet at the very top of the key, and Stafford just couldn't quite get it to him in time, and the Saints do a nice job bottling him up in the corner.
Now Nielsen Skinner wants to push. Instead takes the scenic route, circles back out. Saints flatten things out near the baseline. Wang pushes through, Reed comes to get it. Faces up along the baseline, moves to his left, gets to the rack, lays it up and in. Went right at Mitch Brizzi. Basically just said, I own you, 44. Come and get it. They tried to block it from behind as well, but Paquette could not get to it. He handles here in the high post. Xavier Smith rejected by Goy Wang. No look pass for Wang running the floor.
Yeah, it's a good call right there. Wildcats able to get set. That was Banks who just set up. Great job on the defense in transition. Runs right to the edge of that restricted zone, sets up, and takes the charge.
Well, with 11:28, we'll take a break. 54-43, Saints continue to lead Central Washington. Well, we got a great game in our first one between these two teams. This one's shaping up nicely as well. A women's basketball game coming down to the final 4 or 5 minutes before Central Washington eventually tucked it away. 78-73. Brilliant performances from Claire Dingus and Tierney DeDonis in their swan song here in the regular season anyway for St. Martin's at home. And the Saints getting some pretty spectacular efforts out of a few dudes on the men's side. Chief among them, Alex Schumacher continues to lead the way for both teams. 17 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Central Washington possession. They trail by 11. Brizzi kicks back outside for Thompson. Puts it between the legs, finds Brizzi. Spins into Marky Adams, shut down, but able to work a shot up and in.
Great move inside.
Yeah.
I mean, that is not an easy one. No hard angle to do that and just go straight up with the shot. Otherwise, that ball's easily blocked.
Now Brett Reed down low. Pump fake, gets to the rack, lays it in. Paquette had all kinds of trouble with Brett Reed there. God, he's just so good around the basket. His feet just knows what to do, how to free himself from the defender. Paquette, though, at the other end showing off what he can do. in traffic near the hoop as he leans in with the left hand and lays it in.
Yeah, Saints have been able to take advantage without Gilson on the floor. Just keep getting looks inside, and that's what they're looking here up top over to Adams. Just couldn't quite get the angle.
Now Brett Reed down the right side of the paint. Gets back into the middle of it, spins toward the basket, off-balance shot, leaves it short. He goes tumbling, everybody's okay. Back comes the Wildcats. Thompson rips a pass down low for Banks. They kick it back outside. Now David Thompson resets with 15 on the shot clock. Same pass to Banks, now back across to Mitch Brizzy, and back-to-back hoops for the 6'9 sophomore from Twin Falls, Idaho.
That was great interior passing, just waiting for the best opportunity. Central Washington not panicking and getting the look that they want.
Reverse it back for Greeley. Thompson all over him. Nielsen Skinner crosses right to left, goes right at the rack, high off the glass. A little bit short and able to come away with it. Nearly taken away from Micah Pollard. Thompson, a long three from the Twin Star logo, right in front of head coach Brandon Renta. It won't go. Skinny back the other way. Schumacher accelerates into the lane. Stripped away. Great defensive effort from Thompson. Now he wants to run. Tied up by Reed. They exchange pleasantries. Everything's cool. We're all good. Nice and easy. There.
And there's not much Brett Reed could do on that play. Thompson had a full head of steam going straight at the basket. That was just everything he could do to make sure Thompson didn't get a shot up and make this into an and one opportunity.
Yeah, as much as I've raved about Xavier Smith, David Thompson really just about his equal in terms of talent, in terms of ability on the floor. You saw that steal. He just ripped that ball clean a moment ago, races the floor. This is a really, really good player in his own right. He's a 6-foot senior from Milwaukee. He's a D1 bounce back as well. He played for Santa Clara in the West Coast Conference for a while. Nielsen Skinner's cut off near the baseline. Saints nearly turn it over. Schumacher recovers, but last touched by Isaiah Banks. It'll roll out of bounds across the Saints baseline. 16 on the shot clock. We're under 9 to play. Lead has trickled down to 5, so Central Washington not going anywhere. Now Schumacher takes the inbounds, fires from 3. It's halfway down and pops out. Central Washington with a very good opportunity to make this a one-possession game. Pollard to Frizzy. Nearly travels. Did travel. He did, didn't he? Yes, he did. Okay. Brandon Renta's not wild about it, but Frizzy clearly took the extra step. He even traveled before he started his move. I gotta like the confidence out of Frizzy.
Yeah, they've asked him to step up big here down, in the second half.
Yeah, in the absence of Marcus Gilson down low, he's played pretty darn well. Now Thompson with the foul on Greeley. That's the 5th on the Wildcats, a 3rd on Thompson.
Yeah, and Saints just got to get aggressive again. They've kind of taken their foot off the pedal, looking for more set plays. They need to get back to being aggressive and looking for that inside shot. There was Greeley, flash for a second.
Now Schumacher from the free throw line. Leaves that short, and Poquette the rebound for the Wildcats. Isaiah Banks the other way. Accelerates, gets all the way to the rack and lays it in. Transition offense bails out Central Washington again. They're back within 3. They've trailed by as many as 9. Now Adams with the answer.
Just a good, nice little low hook. Adams didn't catch the ball as deep as he wanted in the paint and decides, well, I'm just going to go straight up over it. I have the height advantage, and he uses that.
Thompson off the Paquette screen. Bounces to the corner. Skip pass over the top. It's Banks. Pollard from 3. Got it. My goodness, what a hit from Micah Pollard. 2-point game as we near the 7-minute mark. The Saints have squandered away 10 of their 12-point lead.
Like we said, Jeff, no lead is safe here in the GNAC, and you knew with Central Washington they're going to make another run. They weren't just going to roll over here by any means.
Heck no.
And so what a game we've got. Again, this could be a GNAC championship game in 2 weeks. I think we're getting a glimpse of it already.
Woo. Well, that foul was the 6th on Central Washington here in the second half. So both teams in the bonus for the final 7 minutes of our contest. Fans, buckle in. It's down to a 2-point game on the St. Martin's Digital Network. St. Martin shooting 40% from the floor. Their shooting has definitely tapered off a little bit over the last 4 or 5 minutes of this game, and that's a big reason why Central Washington has been able to claw their way right back into this game. 3 Saints now in double figures. Schumacher continues to lead the way, but he hasn't scored in a while. He's got 17. Brett Reed's got 13, and Marcus Linker has 10. All of those coming in the first half for the Saints. I would see much of Linker, if any at all, here in the second half. He's on the floor now, though, as we rejoin the action. Nielsen Skinner weaving his way through traffic, turns it over. His first of the night. Central Washington looking to run. Offensive foul, Linker. His reinsertion into the lineup immediately pays dividends. If you're a Central Washington fan, I don't know if I'd like that call very much. I don't know that Linker was necessarily in perfect position to draw that charge, but the Saints fans here in Marcus Pavilion will certainly take it.
Yeah, in a game like this, you'll take any break you can get.
After turning it over at the other end, they force a turnover right back. Now Linker at the top of the key. Reverses it into the hands of Alex Schumacher. Now Adams with his back to the basket wants to challenge Brizzy again. Right-handed baby hook, way too strong. And Poquette clears it away for the Wildcats. Banks, no look pass, sets up Pollard, wide open 3. That one will not go. He hit from over there just a moment ago. He had no Saints defender within about 7 feet of him. Still, though, was not able to knock that one home. Now Skinner standing on the Twin Star logo. Jab step to his right. Now drifts toward the baseline, angles back with the left hand into the paint. And the ball sails out of bounds. So back-to-back turnovers for Jayden Nielsen Skinner, who again has not played in a while. So Austin, maybe a little bit of conditioning starting to catch up with him a little bit as he's played more minutes tonight than maybe he anticipated.
Yeah, I think they were, hoping to maybe just get him in for, 10 minutes or so, but now he's starting to creep up in that 20-minute mark. And that's a lot to do after you've missed 5 games in a row.
Xavier Smith looking like every bit the elite athlete he is on that little 8-foot leaner, and he ties the game. We near the 5-minute mark, all knotted at 58. Well, Central Washington has absorbed a massive body blow from the Saints, and they have proved that they are up to the task. They have worked their way back into it, all the way back. In fact, they take their first lead in transition. Micah Pollard runs the floor, rewarded for it. Now it's Adams. Gets his defender in the air. Once he flies by, he's got clear sailing to the hoop. Raises for the two-handed flush and draws the Saints back even at 60.
Great heads-up play by Marky Adams. Let the defender get up over you, then go up for the easy two-handed slam.
Brizzy kicks outside. Pollard again. No good. Rebound Schumacher. Linker runs the floor, finds his spot. Wang does too.
Yeah, he was trying to have Wang cut towards the basket there. He had no one on the baseline. I think Shu wanted to try a nice lob to Wang on the back.
Linker's going to head to the line for a 1-and-1 opportunity, but 3 Saint starters make their way back onto the floor. Kyle Greeley, Christian Hafner, and Brett Reed all rejoin the mix. Schumacher, Wang, and Adams step away.
Yeah, Schumacher will be back on, I think, after this media timeout in about 20 seconds. The Saints just wanted to try and give their core a nice little rest before the final stretch here.
Well, Linker can't convert on the front end, but Hafner able to save it back in bounds for the moment anyway. It's batted back into the hands of Poquette in Central Washington. Wants to run. Offensive foul going to be called against Xavier Smith. Now that one was pretty obvious. He clearly pushed off on Greeley. He got that right arm extended pretty good. When you're as strong as you are, when you're as strong as a guy like Xavier Smith is, he's got to know that that's going to get called against him pretty much 9 times out of 10. Now Hafner works his way around the screen. He gets into the paint, but he's rejected by Paquette. Saved back in bounds. What a play by Amari Stafford to keep it alive. Now Gilson back on the floor. Thompson with it. Guarded by Skinny. Rolls around the screen. Give and go. Pick and pop. Lost in midair by Gilson. Winds up with Kyle Greeley.
Yeah, I think the Saints have had their best luck when they're fluid and in transition. Just keep that ball moving towards the rack. Central Washington's defense is buckling down right now.
Kyle Greeley's 3 nearly goes, but it's saved back in bounds by Reed. Now Hafner drives, kicks back for Skinny. He'll try for 3. Got it! Jayden Nielsen Skinner with a high arcing 3. And the Saints take the lead at 63-60 as we near the 3-minute mark.
And that's why he's my MVP of this team. He comes through in the clutch game after game. Good defense there by Skinny again, forcing Smith all the way out. Or correction, Thompson. That's another tough break for the Saints. They need that one to go down there. And now they're playing 5-on-4 defense.
Racing the other way, it's Xavier Smith. And Central Washington will call timeout with 2:40 to play. Not sure what happened with Kyle Greeley on that. He had a wide open lane to the basket. He was the only guy in the painted area. Left it short. The previous possession, how about Brett Reed saving that ball back in bounds to keep it alive to give Skinny the opportunity at that 3?
Yeah, and the Saints, nice also ball handling around the top. And Skinny just, they work it to the open man. And Skinny, again, doing what he does best, coming through in the clutch. But now here with 2:40 left, Saints, for me, I think you got to get the ball back in the hands. He's been a little quiet here as of late. Alex Schumacher, he's been your best offensive player. Try and get that ball there. Brett Reed as well. He should be fresh and ready to go down low. He's nearing a double-double. Schumacher almost had a triple-double. But wow, Jeff, we've last day of the basketball year for us together up here on the broadcast, and we got 2 instant classics tonight. I mean, what a night this has been for us.
Yeah, we couldn't have asked for a whole lot more. Of course, obviously, as the hometown announcer, we would have loved to have seen the Saints get out of here earlier with a women's basketball victory. Central Washington, just such a good team. I did, in fact, have the chance to catch up with head coach Randy Richardson afterwards. She was just sitting on the stairs all by herself for a moment, just looking at her phone, catching up on some texts. I'm sure she had some congratulations rolling in on such a great win here this afternoon. Told her that I thought she should be the unanimous coach of the year in the GNAC and women's basketball. Everything that she has done with that team so far this season, they've got a really legitimate shot at something very, very special with a deep, deep run in March. Like to see that happen representing the GNAC. Men's basketball action, we've still got 2.5 to play. It's a 1-point game. Saints with the lead and possession. Linker remains on the floor. Now Schumacher circles out. Couple of lefty dribbles to his left. Back to Kyle Greeley. Out beyond the arc. Loses control. Going to have to force up a shot. Can he do it? He can. And it nearly goes. Schumacher after, but last touch by him. It will go back to Central Washington.
That was, again, great defense by the Wildcats up top, not allowing Greeley to get set at all. And the Saints were trying to get a flare to the post in Brett Reed. They just couldn't quite line up that angle.
David Thompson Leisurely walks it across the timeline. Now Xavier Smith, good defense from Schumacher, keeping him at bay. Nearly travels, almost slid that pivot foot, gets it back. They look down low. Linker bothers the pass, but it keeps Gilson way out away from his spot. He gets into the paint, bounces it off inside, no look pass. And Poquette punches it home for Central Washington. Most importantly, though, Central Washington back on top by 1. Outstanding offensive set for the Wildcats when things looked like they were breaking down.
Yeah, and it was the great interior passing again. And now here's Skinny down low. He's just going to have to raise with him, missing everything. And the Saints getting flustered on the offensive end. They have not got a good offensive set in the last 3-4 possessions.
Gilson. Not much Linker could do but commit the foul. Big size advantage for Marcus Gilson. He takes full advantage. So many good-looking players on the Central Washington team. Just a stable of talent over there for Brandon Minta. He's assembled quite a little squad for himself. They've got experienced guys, they've got young guys, they've got length, they've got size, they've got depth, they've got athleticism, they can get physical, they can guard you, they can shoot. They do give up a lot of points, but they have, well, both of these teams have basically kept one another in check today. They're both well off the pace of their regular season scoring averages. Both free throws missed by Marcus Gilson as we near the 1 minute mark of the second half. Saints trail by 1. Wang back on the floor. Now Schumacher will pull up for 3. Leaves it short, but it rolls home! That bounced on the rim 4 times and fell. And Central Washington turns it over. Thompson got caught in midair. Wang with it. Back to Linker. Now Skinny will settle it down. Saints with a 2-point lead. 20 on the shot clock, 40 on the game clock.
I got to get the ball right back to Schumacher. He's just feeling it tonight.
Skinny looking over his shoulder. Schu comes to get it. Backs out, 8 on the shot clock. Got to go quick. Schumacher with 5. Crosses right to left. Back to the right. Gets into the paint. Shot is up. Falls off. Brett Reed offensive rebound.
And Central
huge rebound for Brett Reed to keep the possession alive.
Oh, what a play down low, and we talked about it. The Saints have the advantage in size, and Brett Reed, you got to love that right there. Goes over to head coach Aaron Landon to shove each other a little bit. Huge play, but now you get Skinny at the line. And it's 2 shots. That's an important double bonus. Yeah, this one, though, is far from over, Jeff. Even if Skinny hits this next one, Central Washington's going to get at least 2 more offensive possessions.
First, it was the 3 from Schumacher that bounced, 4 times on the rim before falling through to give the Saints the lead.
Yeah,
then after his runner in the lane didn't fall, Brett Reed fought with everything he had for the offensive rebound, was able to keep it alive, kick it back outside to Linker, who got it into the hands of Nielsen Skinner. How about those huge plays? First Schu with the 3, then Reed with the offensive rebound.
Look, that's why head coach Aaron Landon and his staff went out and got Brett Reed, was for that moment right there. He is one of the best rebounders in all of college basketball at the D2 level. He was averaging almost 10 boards a game in just 20 minutes at Chaminade before he transferred in here to the Saints. So that is why you brought him in, and he goes and he just out-muscles. I mean, you're not going to find a guy who works harder than him, and you know that's what he lives and breathes on, going to get those kind of boards. But now, another free throw opportunity. I expect the Saints probably to throw Nielsen, Skinner, maybe even Goy Wang to kind of pick up the pressure to force Central Washington to pick that dribble up and start burning the clock immediately. But if you're Central Washington, depending on this one.
Yeah, everything hinges on this free throw.
Yeah. I think, though, if Nielsen Skinner makes it, I think you got to start going for the 3, though.
Skinny was good on the first. Wang the only Saint on the blocks. Free throw is up and good. Caught the front of the rim, but just did roll home. And Landon will call for a timeout from the Saints bench. It's a 30. How about that clutch free throw shooting? That's something that's abandoned them at times in closing moments of games for St. Martin's, but Jayden Nielsen Skinner up to the task.
Yeah, you talk about he's missed 5 games in a row.
Yeah.
He was in a boot on Thursday and wasn't even a chance he was going to go on Thursday. To be able to come onto the floor, give 25 minutes, knock down a huge 3, and then those 2 free throws, wow. And he's only a sophomore, Jeff. I mean, that's the beauty of it. He plays like a senior. You still got him for a couple more years.
I know, it's pretty spectacular. I was actually just thinking about that a moment ago. Like I'm going to miss guys like Brett Reed and John Moore and Marky Adams so very much, but the future is so bright for this team with Alex Schumacher, Nielsen Skinner, Kyle Greeley, and Tyke Thompson, among others. Now here we go. David Thompson, who turned it over a moment ago, gets it over to Smith. His 3 on the way, too strong. Ball batted around. It's trickling out of bounds. It falls out of bounds. Paquette could not save it. Steps out of bounds in front of his own bench. With 7.4, the Saints with possession. It's a 2-possession game.
Yeah, now the Saints are going to put their best free throw shooters on the floor with Greeley and Hafner coming back as well. So now any one of those 4 guys, Greeley, Schumacher, Nielsen, Skinner, or Hafner, you feel confident at the line.
What a finish. The Saints and Wildcats both just look for all the world like some of the best teams in all of the Western region here today. The foul is given. It'll be Nielsen Skinner, who cashed twice from the free throw line a moment ago. Micah Pollard fouls him near the baseline at the central end. Remember, the Saints are in the double bonus. 18 fouls on the Saints. And Skinny for the first of 2.
Well, Jeff, this is one of those. I don't think you foul here, even though a foul would result in a 1-and-1. I don't think you foul. I think you let Central Washington try and press that ball all the way up the court.
6 seconds to go. 6-point lead for the Saints. Xavier Smith races the floor, has his pocket picked by Alex Schumacher with 1.8, and the Saints are going to win. They are up by 6 with 1.8 to play. This one is just window dressing. It'll go, but it's too little, too late on Senior Day. The Saints with a magnificent 70-66 win. Marky Adams, Brett Reed, and Goy Wang in their final home games with John Moore in street clothes on the bench. A very special Senior Day finale for this program. And Aaron Landon is bringing the team together over in front of his bench. What a special moment this is. Look at that family right there. Look at those dudes brought together by head coach Aaron Landon over the last few years.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm going to have to go digging, but I think I feel pretty confident saying this. I think this is the first time ever since the Saints have joined the NCAA they have swept both Central Washington and Western Washington in a season, but they cap off 10-2 at home on the season. We'll see them again on this floor in the GNAC Championships. What a senior night for the men's team. Wow.
We will step away here for just a moment, but when we return, we will be joined by Saints men's basketball head coach Aaron Landon. He will make his way up here for one final chat on the broadcast. Fans, don't go anywhere. The Saints men's basketball postgame show is coming up on the other side of this break. And welcome inside Marcus Pavilion, back inside Marcus Pavilion for the St. Martin's men's basketball postgame show. It's a special Senior Day edition. We're going to hear first from head coach Aaron Landon, and then we're going to be joined by one of the 4 graduating seniors on this team, Brett Reed. Coach, let's start with you, though. Man, oh, man, what a game we got here today. Central Washington, they've got dudes. That is a whole basketball team and then some that you just took on, and you were able to get out of here with that 4-point win.
Yeah, they got dudes, and they're well coached, and just don't go away. It's unbelievable to be in here tonight. I mean, before we talk about the game, this was the best crowd I've ever been around at St. Martin's. So, you know, the goosebumps off of a tight win is one thing, but it's just enhanced. I know a lot of it was for Pack the Pav. I really hope that this is what Marcus Pavilion looks like during the conference tournament, because it was just an incredible environment, and I thought that it gave us some momentum late in the game when they tightened things up.
Well, once again, you got it from him on Thursday, and you got another spectacular performance out of Alex Schumacher. I want to talk about the seniors, but before we shift over to talking about those guys, you got almost a triple-double out of him tonight. 20 points, 8 boards, 7 assists for that spectacular sophomore from Vancouver. He's really, really, really played well for you down the stretch.
Yeah, and I mean, we coach him hard. It's it's not easy. He had a tough week last week, and he knew that, and we spent a bunch of time watching that film and putting pressure on him, and he answered the bell tonight. So that's not a coaching thing. That's just a resilience thing, and he just did a great job bouncing back. It was awesome to have Skinny back tonight,
Yep.
But I just thought Shu's performance just took so much pressure off Skinny, kind of let him find his way back and figure his legs out.
Well, let's shift over to the seniors here. You've got 4 guys that played their final regular season game anyway here inside Marcus Pavilion, and we're going to hear from one of them here in just a moment. But Marky Adams, of course, John Moore, and Goy Wang all seeing this floor for the final time in a regular season game. Talk about how special those guys are in your heart and to this program over the last few years.
Yeah, let me try to be short so I don't just start sobbing about those guys. I told them before the game, I said, we'll give you a frame and you'll have your minute, and that's what this night is partially about, but these are legacy guys. In the future, I told them we'll be talking about tradition, but they started it. They shifted the culture, and, Marky, John, and Goy really stuck it out during hard times, and Brett was crazy enough to sign up for a team that had gone 8-36 under, these coaches and with this group. So, you got to be a little bit crazy to stick things out during a pandemic and a couple lousy seasons, but God bless these guys. No matter what happens in the future, you'll just always remember the group that carried you to this moment. And we're a good program, and that's solely because these guys set the tone. We got to continue to get a lot tougher, but every single night I feel good about our toughness because of what we got up front, and Brett and Marky lead that charge.
Well, and I'm going to put you on the spot, and I'm going to maybe tug at your heart just a little bit more. I want to talk about John Moore for a second, because he's a guy that we just never really got a chance to talk about that much because he got hurt so early on in the season. But he's a guy that came here with you from South Puget Sound. You've known John a long, long time. You go way back with that kid. He didn't really get to play hardly at all this year, but I know that your bond with him is one that you're going to just carry forward with you for the rest of your life. He's a very special kid. You know how good of a person he is. Lay it on me. What's it mean to have a guy like him on this team?
Yeah, John was the rock in the storm, and I'll leave it at that.
All right. Beautiful. Good stuff.
Last thing I got to say, this dude that's going on the air, he's a senior and all that, but you and me talked when we were doing that women's game that night, and I think we were talking about Claire Dingus and Emily Nielsen, and we were talking about see-ball, get-ball.
Yeah.
Our offense sucked in that last stretch. So we just were chucking up shots in our best offense, and our game-winning play was running see-ball, get-ball, where you throw it up at the rim, he sees it, he goes and gets it. It was so incredible to see him finish out his final home game with just a stamping offensive rebound. That stamped the win. That was a game-winning play. So he has to be up here. Talk him up. He's got plenty to say. He's had an incredible journey here, and we just wouldn't even be close to where we are without this dude.
Well, let's go ahead on that note, turn it over to Brett Reed after that introduction here. And, we'll just go ahead and
cussing. He's a little new to this here. He'll give you that raw and uncut. This is what we call this is live. This is live.
These mics are hot,
Let's
my man.
go, yeah.
They couldn't be hotter.
No editing.
All right, thanks, Coach. All right, well, we'll have the trade-off here. We've got Brett Reed now donning the headset here for some post-game chats. And, Brett, another double-double for you. Just a fantastic effort. The energy that you have brought to this program, Coach mentioned it. This wasn't a program that hadn't had a lot of success under Coach Lennon in his first his first season and a half here, basically. But you believed in what this program had to offer. You came here and you helped turn things around. You're a huge part of the success of this team this season. And, again, that play that you made down the stretch, getting that offensive rebound, keeping that possession alive, that's just so emblematic of everything that you've done for this program. Talk about what it's meant to be here for this season, your final year of college basketball.
Oh, man, it means everything to me. I had a long journey to get here, man. Coach Velasquez and Coach Landon, it's not like I had a lot of people calling me. I have a crazy story, but these guys gave me a chance, and they make it easy to play hard for them every day, man. That offensive rebound was a huge play, but it's in those games, we were talking about it with the last game when Kyle hit that shot and we had that meltdown. It's all those little things combined, man. In the GNAC, it's about who plays harder and, who can get a ball to roll their way off the glass. You can make free throws. Yeah, man, it's easy to play hard for these guys, and it's easy to play hard for my teammates, man. I have a great relationship with these guys on and off the court, man. These guys, this is just a blessing for me. So,
we've got one last road trip in front of you. You're going to go up to Alaska and make your way to Fairbanks and Anchorage. What do you want to see out of the first game next Thursday once you guys get back up into the Arctic Circle?
Just to compete, man. I mean, we've had some crazy road trips. I know we want to become road warriors again, man. We were great on the road in the preseason, and we had a long, tough one. On the road against Simon Fraser, those schools. But it'll be great to go out to Alaska, see that part of the country. I know my guys are ready to finish out the season strong. This thing's not over, man. So every game matters. We lost to Anchorage before, so we've got unfinished business here.
I'm going to tug at your heartstrings just a little bit here, too. You've got your dad, Rick, and your mom, Joanne, here for each of the last two games. Both of them flew up from Texas to be here to watch you get to play here in person in your last two regular season home games. How special was it to get these two wins with both of your parents right here in attendance?
I couldn't put it into words, man. You really are tugging on my heartstrings. They've done everything for me, when I had no one else, there for me. Besides basketball, they were there for me, and I love them with all my heart, and I hope they hear this later. Back home, they went to all my games growing up. My dad coached me. They want to see me succeed more than anything. Yeah, great people.
Awesome stuff. Well, Brett, congratulations on an absolutely spectacular performance here on Senior Day. You played your absolute tail off. Way to go get it, man. You guys got it done yet again here this afternoon.
Yeah,
great job.
And also, shout out to you guys. I know my mom sent you an email. She loves this. This is the best in the GNAC right here. I always watch the games after. Your little authority thing of the other night had me dying in my room at 2 a.m. So yeah.
Well, I'm good for something, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you guys. You guys have a good one.
All right, Brett. Thanks so much for stopping by, bud. All right. Oh my goodness. I just have goosebumps. Look at my arms. I got them running up and down my arms here. That was pretty special. That was great. I love hearing from dudes that are just people that good. I mean, Brett Reed, he is a great story. That guy's come a long way, and he none of us are ever going to forget this season. I mean, this is the start of something so special for head coach Aaron Landon. It was a tough go for him, but he had an empty cupboard. He had to really and truly rebuild the program after Alex Pribble left here, and there was a lot to live up to because those last couple of seasons under Alex Pribble, there was an almost unqualified level of success for those 2 years. And so the expectations had really started to build. Coach Pribble leaves. Aaron Landon comes in, has to rebuild everything. And here in his second full season, we had the COVID year last year, but his second full season, everything has completely turned around. This is all of a sudden right back where it was when Alex Pribble left. The St. Martin's men's basketball program has a completely winning culture.
Yeah, Jeff, when you talk about rebuilding a team, you need guys. It's a hard sell to try and sell someone hey, your final year of basketball, I know we've been struggling, but we're building something here. And the Saints did that with Matt Dolan a couple years ago, transferred in from Oregon State.
Oh, man, great call.
He set that up. And now that's what Brett Reed has done. He's come into this program with his last year and gave it his all. And he has done so much for this program. This year has been special. Obviously, there's still another 2 games, so we're far from being over. But, Jeff, they were picked 9th in the preseason poll.
That's just nuts.
They are right now in first place for the regular season championship with 2 games left. Now in Alaska on the road. It doesn't get much harder than that. But the Saints have set themselves up. And what a run this has been.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been fun. I mean, I wake up every day when it's a Saints game day, and I'm just pumped because watching these guys play basketball, they're having fun. They're a bunch of fun dudes out there. And you know what? I get to show up here in the gym with you, calling it all.
And Sydney.
And Sydney, our executive producer. Jeff, it really doesn't get much better than this. And what a year it's been. It's been a lot of fun.
Man, oh man, it sure has. What a great season. And there's still so much more basketball to be played. Obviously, this Saints season not over yet, as we've talked about a couple of times. Both men and women will be up in Alaska for 2 more regular season games before the GNAC postseason tournament gets underway. Remember, once again, folks, all 10 teams on either side into the tournament. So really and truly, it's anyone's tournament to win. Oh man, things are just shaping up so nicely down the stretch. I feel so good about where this program is right now. Women have, after that amazing start to their season, it's not been at all what they had hoped for as they got into the teeth of GNAC play. But there's still a lot of time for them to just pull everything right back together, and they can, who knows, get on a heater and put something special together there in the postseason tournament as well. But yeah, it's been so much fun getting to call these games for this program. Once again, I wouldn't trade this for the world. I'm just so thankful that the St. Martin's athletic department lets me get up here and babble like an absolute raving lunatic for 40 minutes of game time a couple of times per week.
Well, Jeff, I mean, I'll tell the fans at home who are listening, a lot of you guys don't know, but Jeff Lucero also does our soccer games. He does a PA there. He's out at baseball and softball doing PA and scoring for us. This guy does it all. He's one of the best. He works up with the Seattle Storm. I mean, we got a pro in here in St. Martin. So, we got real lucky with him. And so every year it's always, we're doing whatever we can to try and keep him on board because he's the all-star of the group.
Oh, stop it, you. I'm blushing over here. No. Well, really and truly, we've got such a special thing happening here on the St. Martin's campus with this athletic department community. It's been so much fun. I wish that we were going to be able to call some more games, but the GNAC has it from here for the tournament, and I'm just excited to just come out and watch some games as a fan and just take it all in. It's going to be one heck of a GNAC postseason tournament once that rolls around. Again, that's Wednesday through Saturday, that first week of March. Not totally sure that it's like the 3rd through the 7th, right in that range right there, but yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun. There's so much great basketball well on its way to be played here in the GNAC the rest of the way. 70-66 is our final score here on senior night. The men take down Central Washington after the women came up just short. It was the Wildcats women's program taking down the Saints 78-73 in our first game this evening. You know what? That's a wrap. That's it for us for the season. So on behalf of my always amazing broadcast partner, Austin Burns, and our always stalwart, sturdy executive producer, Sydney Henderson, this is Jeff Lucero signing off on behalf of the entire St. Martin's athletic department. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in throughout the season. We will see you next fall. Good night.